Сьогодні ми запланували собі подорож круїзом довкола Мангеттена. І от ми є на пірсі 83-му. Тут справа стоїть авіаносець з часів Другої світової війни, який воював з японцями. Але тепер це музей. І тут видно літаки авіаносця, який став музей. Ігор купує квитки. 42-га вулиця, ту, що ми оглядали недавно. От ми йдемо зараз на екскурсію. От на один з таких катерів ми маємо сісти і плисти довкола Мангеттена. Але сьогодні погода не дуже нам сприяє, щоб побачити гарно весь Мангеттен, бо нема сонця, хмарно.
The mugs are $7. The drinks included.
What's so much
Ice cold lemonade, Coke Diet, Coke Sprite, orange soda, coffee, tea, hot chocolate. And
Дарко вже вуйко Ігор купив, що він хотів. Канапки, киски.
Дуже почекай. То постав, почекаєш, сядемо на корабель, там де шість. Добре?
Sit over there.
Ось ми вже на кораблі. Займаємо місця. Літаки. Цей прийшов з круїзу, і цей точно такий самий, як нам.
Everybody got out, and nobody knew if that thing was going to sink any minute.
Кабінет
You know, they're not built to float. Fortunately, that one did. So they did their job,
коротко про
and they were very brave, and they should not be forgotten.
Ось тут
So
показано
if you stand, you block people's view.
мапу нашої подорожі. Зеленим це є острів Мангеттен. І точка відходу, і ми навколо острова Мангеттена протягом 3 годин будемо дивитися, оглядати. Найкраще, фактично, що можна побачити тут в Нью-Йорку.
Building now,
Починаємо
almost 30
розвертатися.
years. And again, the Empire State Building.
Видно, як вертоліт сідає. Ось то, що ми вчора бачили
But folks, you see for yourselves that it is a quiet
з
harbor.
гори.
The historians
86-го
say not so
поверху.
many years ago,
Бачите, білдинг.
this upper
Тепер ми то
harbor
все
where we
бачимо
are
зі
right
сторони
now might
моря.
have been the
Ну,
busiest in the
верніше,
world.
з
Back
води.
then, on any given day, there could be as many as
Великий
100
Гудзон.
ships up here, all along both waterfronts. This afternoon, there are no ships up here, and these are new apartment houses over on the right there, on the Jersey waterfront. Brand new. Now this park on the left, everybody. In April of 1912, the survivors of the Titanic were picked up by a ship named the Carpathia. She came into New York Harbor with over 700 of those survivors, and she tied up right here on the left, right after the old Green Pier. That's where the Cunard piers were back then. There were 30,000 luxury apartment houses along the waterfront. Nice restaurants here and there. They call it gentrification. Hoboken's been gentrified from a pretty tough town, well, to kind of a fancy pants town. I don't think Frank Sinatra would recognize it. He grew up there. You say he was a pretty tough kid himself. Now, folks, this next open stretch of Manhattan is Greenwich Village, where thousands of people and arts live, and pretty much give it its personality. New York engineer, Clifford Holland. Now, the river is about 50 feet deep on average, but the tunnels are 100 feet down under the riverbed. If you were to dive down, you'd see no indication of a tunnel. Also, there are railroad tunnels under us. Now, folks, in a few minutes, we'll be going by the World Trade Center, Ground Zero. I'll show you where the Twin Towers were. I can show you where the Woolworth building is. Look at Manhattan, farther down. See the building with the tower and the green spire? Kind of a Gothic look to it. The Woolworth building has been there since 19... gray buildings on the Manhattan side, that's the World Trade Center. Now the two tall buildings, the one with the round top and the one with the triangular top, were directly in front of the Twin Tower. That had been the German bank, Deutsche Bank. The Germans now have a new building on Wall Street. They're way behind schedule in demolition. They've had a lot of problems there. Now the round glass structure tucked in the middle is the Winter Garden. Now, if you come down here, go into the Winter Garden. There's no charge. Your best overall view of Ground Zero is from the back of the Winter Garden. And it's amazing, an amazing structure. It's got 5 palm trees in there and so on. Now, keep that in mind now, the Winter Garden. Now, I recommend that you do come down here, especially if you're an American. Although not everyone was American who lost their lives that day. People from 58 countries died in the attack. And the building you see under construction is on the site of one of the towers. Now this is the oldest part of New York City, this lower end of Manhattan. This is the part that was New Amsterdam and New York. That weight, well, they're on bedrock.
Per invece потім видно освітлення і зовсім міняється картина. Тих самих будівель.
Now the two gray buildings near the end of the island there, the one with a step-like roof and the one right behind it, comprise the Museum of Jewish Heritage. And we're going out into the upper bay of New York Harbor on our way down to the Statue of Liberty. It's a bit glary out terminal. It's now a museum. Millions of immigrants, once they were released from Ellis Island, went right there to get on trains to go all over America. So they're preserving it as a museum. And we'll be going by Ellis Island in just a few minutes, coming up on the road. And folks, if you will, one more look over at Manhattan. The classic-looking gray building behind the trees. The one with the...
Тепер подивимося, як ззаду виглядає Нью-Джерсі. Я так говорю, як американці. Не Нью-Джерсі, а Нью-Джерсі. Америка є такої високої вологості. Через то не дуже воно може добре видно.
Today, Ellis Island is a museum of immigration. But from 1892 until 1954, this is where the immigrants were processed. They say as many as 17 million people went through middles with the names of thousands of immigrants whose families have contributed money to the Ellis Island Fund. Most of the restoration is being paid for by donations, not tax money. And the museum is open every day. Now, if any of you Yankee doodles on board have an ancestor who landed here, they might be able to tell you the name of the ship the person arrived on, even the exact date of arrival. Now, they don't have all the records, but they've got a lot of them. If you have a computer at home, try